Hello there. What is going on, everybody? We've got our new Legion news today, and it is the 500-point skirmish mode. A little bit surprised about that. I was thinking it was going to be something else because skirmish mode is kind of already a thing, and I was kind of expecting that it would be something more unexpected. So I guess that's the thing about expectations, is if you have them, they can apparently fail to be met from time to time. But either way, this is still good for the game. It's a cool new format. It is going to be officially recognized. It is going to be officially supported. It will run tournaments, and we've got a lot of information about it. So we're going to talk about that today. Also, I do want to remind you guys I'm doing some big giveaways in December. It's not a specific giveaway. Like, you're not signing up for anything in particular. 12 days in December, I'm going to just randomly announce surprise giveaways to random subscribers. So you need to be a subscriber and leave comments in order to be entered to win the 12 Days of Life Day. So that is going to be going on all throughout December, so make sure you stay tuned for that. There's some really cool things. That being said, you just have to stay tuned and see. So let's talk about Legion Skirmish mode. Now, 500 points, right? We've got different limits. Like, you can only have one commander, so you can't run two commanders. 2 to 4 core, only 2 special forces, 2 supports, 1 heavy, so you got like smaller forces, but 500 points is still enough to kind of feel like a game of Legion. I think this is going to be a good entry point for a lot of people who maybe don't want to get into the entire full-blown 800-point army. It's a cheaper way to get other people into the game, and I can understand that. It's certainly cheaper. It's definitely a quicker way to play as well, because you can get a game in about 90 minutes. They did this live stream in about 90 minutes. They played a full game. It only runs 5 turns. There is an entire document on their website. It plays on a 3x3 mat, which is huge for a lot of folks, because now you can just get a single play mat and play Legion. You only need to cover about 1/3 of the terrain with that. So again, less terrain, less play area, less time constraints, less money, and less painting, less assembly. Just a shorter, quicker, smaller game of Legion. Not as small as I was hoping, mind you. I was really hoping for Kill Team. I was hoping for, like, Strike Team. So basically, individual named characters only. No generic, nameless characters. Individual miniatures, not entire squads. And hopefully a way to get an entire crew, and like an entire group of heroes onto the board at the same time. Like Luke and Leia and Chewie and Lando and C-3PO and R2-D2 and Wicket the Ewok, you know, something like that, like just heroes. I was hoping to get something like that. Something kind of like what Imperial Assault used to allow you to do, that you just can't do anymore because Imperial Assault is no longer really supported. So that's kind of what I was hoping for. But that isn't what we got. So, you know, let me stop trying to dwell on my wish lists and focus more on what did come out today, because there were a couple of really cool things. So one of the things I want to talk about is the new objectives. Since the objectives, conditions, and deployment cards for the standard game really aren't going to work on a 3x3 500-point board, they're giving you all new cards that you can use in this. Now, this is only in a print and play formula. So we're going to take a look at some of these in this rules document, which kind of outlines it. At the last 2 pages are the new cards. So you're going to see, you know, a lot of these are very similar, just straight takes on the existing cards. We've got Breach, which is just getting into the other person's zone. Pivotal Positions, which is like key positions. Elimination, which is kind of new. At the end of the game, each player gains a victory token for each defeated enemy unit and 1 additional victory token for each defeated enemy commander, operative, or heavy unit. So it's a little bit more risky if you're going to bring those operatives. And an interesting thing about this is they talked about how in a game like when you've got bounty hunters or somebody who's capable of getting you extra victory points, or in this case R2-D2, who's got that secret mission, well, a victory point in a smaller, shorter game could be huge. So you're going to also get that extra risk by giving your opponent an extra victory point if they're able to kill one of your heroic type characters. So that's pretty cool. We've got Control, which you're going to just mark the center of the battlefield. It's kind of like King of the Hill. And then for our conditions, we've got Clear Conditions, as always, which has no effect, which is fine. War Weary, which is kind of new. And it's I guess, similar in some ways to kind of hostile environment, but when checking for whether a unit is panicked, the range at which you can use a friendly commander's courage instead of your own is reduced by 2. So basically, instead of being range 3 from your commander, you need to be range 1 from your commander to check to see if you're panicked or not, which is really interesting. For our second set of cards, we've also got improvised defenses, where you're going to be placing barricades, which is interesting. Dawn, which is very similar. It's basically just the first round. Units cannot perform attacks beyond range 2. Very similar to the Fog of War that we've seen already. But again, you've only got 5 turns, so they didn't want to cut like the game in half. And that makes sense. So Dawn is a new version of that. So a lot of these are kind of scaled down versions. And of course, we've got our 4 deployment cards: face off, battle lines, flanking positions, and meeting engagements. And the kind of cool thing with face off is that it's a semicircle, which is pretty cool. You're actually using the radius there, which I like that. That's something new that they hadn't done before. So that much is very fun. However, because you're using a square mat, the blue player can actually deploy on any one of those sides. It doesn't have to be, the north side or the south side. They could take the east side or the west side or the dark side. Dad joke. Hashtag dad joke. The light side or the dark side, right? That's pretty cool. So basically all these are just print and play. You'll probably have to sleeve them and just do your normal stuff, but it's just a great format. Now a couple of people were asking, hey, are you gonna like make these available printed, like in any kind of official format? They didn't say. Some people have suggested, well, maybe these will come out in some kind of promo kits or something like that, and you'll be able to get those that way. That may be possible, and that would be nice. But hey, they're available. You can use them. If you want to use existing cards and just say, hey, the existing cards each compare to the one that's most similar, like you could easily swap battle lines in your normal cards for battle lines here, etc. I think you can also do that. So, that's kind of like, I think the gist of Legion Skirmish. It's a 500-point format. They also showcased a little bit of some of the new Phase 2 clone troopers, and as well as the super battle droids, but they didn't have the real versions because I guess they lost all of their Legion stuff in Germany. They didn't use the term lost, but Essen was a long time ago. They still haven't gotten it back yet. So I'm curious, maybe things are stuck in customs or something like that, which is interesting. But we did learn that the new heavy for the B2 battle droid has 3 red dice at range 1 to 2. And so that's pretty cool. Again, like a lot of the cards they were using were kind of printed out, and some of the cards were missing. So we didn't have exact point costs on all of that, but we're going to get preview articles for the Super Battle Droids and the Phase 2 Clone Troopers in January. So that's when we are getting that. Couple of other little interesting things, like Alex Davey was talking about, he's working on Wave 10 right now, which is wild, and Luke's working on Wave 9, so that tells you how far up ahead, because I think Clone Wars is technically Wave 6? I'm not 100% sure on that. I used to know all the waves, and because they don't really broadcast like what wave is what, and and I lost count a long time ago, but I believe all of the launch Clone Wars stuff, what we are in right now, is currently Wave 6, or like right in the middle of Wave 6. And it's kind of difficult to gauge everything, because there are certain things that are kind of like supplemental releases, like terrain expansions don't really fit into a wave because they're not really balanced for stuff. They're extra scenarios, and like the Imperial bunker is not really something that's meant to impact competitive play. But yeah, that tells you how far ahead they're working on things right now, which is really cool and very reassuring. So again, good news for Legion that there's a huge future plan, and we kind of already knew that. Luke Eddy and Alex Davey had been talking about how 2020 was going to be a huge year for Legion, and that brings me into the next point that I think is kind of cool, is that they haven't really announced anything new for Star Wars Legion in a while, and during this live stream we kind of got some little bit of hints, because I had asked, because I know enough about what they're not going to be able to answer. Generally, sometimes they surprise me, because sometimes they'll just be like, "Yeah, we're happy to announce this," But basically the stuff you're not going to be able, they're not going to be able to talk about is usually future releases. And so I had asked the question during the live stream, are we going to see any new announcements? We haven't had any new announcements in a long time. Can we expect any new announcements anytime soon? This way I'm not asking them to confirm anything in particular, just are they going to have anything to talk about soon? And they did confirm that we will get a new product announcements for Legion before Christmas. So that is, at least that's the plan right now. So that's actually really exciting because it's been a while since we've seen something all new get actually announced. My guess, the guess here is that it's going to be Iden Versio and Cassian Andor, those split packs that were kind of leaked and that really shouldn't have been leaked. But we all know, it's the elephant in the room at this point. Everybody know, or maybe it was just a total fake thing. But that's my guess. But then again, that may be part of a whole new wave. Maybe we'll get the entire wave announced, or maybe it will be just those. It's really strange that it's the elephant in the room, that this distributor in Poland, or this alliance leak of these two, expansions just kind of was out there, and everybody stared at it, and everybody's afraid to mention it. So we don't have any details on that. But the presumption is that they're some type of counterpart pack, very similar to how R2 and 3PO are. And that sounds pretty cool. Now, counterpart is really interesting to me because it makes me wonder if they can use that mechanic to give us larger groups of heroes. Like maybe the Ghost crew, all of them will come out with versions where it says counterpart Hera, and you've got Hera as the leader. Everybody else is her counterpart, and then you can move the whole unit around as one big super unit. It's kind of what I'm hoping for, but we'll have to see. So that's also cool, and I feel like Alex Davey may have sort of let something possibly slip because they were talking about how slow the super battle droids are and how there may be ways to transport them across the battlefield before too long. So that kind of made me get the hint that we're going to see transport capability for the Clone Wars faction as part of maybe one of the next waves of updates. That may be something that's coming fairly soon. We'll have to see. Because I love when we can get Alex Davey to talk. We also need to get an Alex Davey soundboard going on because dude is like the dude from Police Academy, especially with his R2-D2 scream. It's absolutely crazy. Also did get a lot of the FFG people shouting McClunky every time somebody dies. By the way, check the merch if you want to support the channel. Got some new cool McClunky shirts and down in multiple shirt shops. So if you're interested in that, you can check those out as well. And I think that's about all we have to really talk about today. But yeah, the big news is that this is now an official format, which kind of was already an unofficial format. So the big revelation here is that they're making it official and that they've come up with these new cards to kind of support the play. So that's pretty cool. But for me, I'm more excited about all the product that's coming out and then the future product that's yet to be announced. It's going to be a very, very happy December, I think. I'm eagerly awaiting new stuff. Let me know what you are most looking forward to see down in the comments below. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I also want to thank the patrons. You guys are amazing. Definitely help keep this channel running. So big thanks. If you're interested in becoming a patron, there is links to Patreon down in the description below. You can gain all kinds of little perks in there, as well as access to Patreon exclusive giveaways, and maybe even get your name up in the credits at the end of the video. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. And as always, have a great day.